Hi guys, in this After Effects lesson we're going to be going over how to import your footage and create an After Effects composition of your own, creating some titles, and also how to best export your project from After Effects once your project is finished. The first thing we need to do is create a composition. So I'm going to go down here to this little tab, left click it, and create our composition. So I'm going to name it our main comp. And we've got all these presets here, but I'm going to select custom and just make sure it's 1920 by 1080, which is HD, at 25 frames per second. And I'm going to make the duration of our composition last 15 seconds. So now I'll hit OK. What our composition is it's basically our canvas for all of our footage or our effects or whatever we're going to create. So yours may look black like this, or it may look like this. This just shows the transparency, because at the moment, although if I toggle this off, it shows black, actually it's just empty, because down here in our timeline window, you can see there's no layers here, it's completely empty. So up here, the first step I'm going to do is import some footage. There's two ways I can do that. I could double click in the empty space and select some footage that way, or I can just simply open Finder and drag and drop some footage into the project panel. So you can see we've got two items here now. This is where all of our assets that we're going to work with within After Effects are stored, is in the project window, sort of like a clip bin within Premiere Pro. So I'm going to double click the clip that I want to import into the timeline that we're going to work with, and I'm going to find an in point. So I'm going to set my in point to be around here, and I'm going to mark it in by pressing this bracket, and I'm going to go forwards and set my out point, and then I'm going to hit this, and that's going to drag it into the composition. So now we can see we have our layer of footage within the timeline, and if I scrub through, or I could hit enter to play it, we can see this is what we've got. Now, because when we created this composition, we created it in HD, which is 1920 pixels across by 1080 pixels vertically. This footage is 4K, which is much higher resolution. So the first thing I need to do is scale this footage down. So to scale something within a composition, we just press this drop down button here, and go to transform, and we've got all these options for position, scale, rotation, and opacity, which is how see-through something is. So I'm going to go to scale, and I'm going to click and drag and make it fit our screen like that. So that's looking much better. Now what I want to do is just add in some text. So I'm going to go to Layer, New, Text, and I'm going to just type something. I'm just going to type the word media, and over here we've got our character tab, and inside here, while selecting the text, we can change the font. So I'm just going to select something that looks a bit cooler, something like that, I don't know. And then I'm going to use the positioning. So if I hit this drop down, go to transform, and drag the position over here, I can actually move around the text. So this is horizontal and this is vertical positioning. And you can see this text lasts up to 1 second, and then after 1 second it disappears. If I wanted to make it last longer, I'd just hover over the end and click and drag. So now it would last for 4 seconds. I could also just hover over the middle and click and drag and move the clip, so it doesn't actually appear until 1 second in. So it kind of pops in like that. And now after 5 seconds, it disappears. And now we could add another piece of text. What I'm actually going to do, instead of go up to Layer, New, Text, and start all over again and have to reset the font, is I'm going to select the media layer, and I'm going to go to Edit, Duplicate, or the shortcut is Command D on the keyboard. So now we've got two layers of the media, and I'm just going to drag this media text over, and to edit the text again, I'm going to double click on the layer and just type production. to adjust the positioning. Instead of pressing the drop down arrow and going through transform, I could just press P on the keyboard, brings up the position, and click and drag these numbers to move it where I want. So I'm just going to go back to this one, select this and edit the position, move it up here maybe. So now we've got media, production, and then as you can see down the bottom, our clip of the plane runs out before the layer that has the production text on it ends. So I could hover over the end of the plane clip and I could extend it and make it last longer. And then at the end of the clip, it goes to black. So if I'm happy with that, and that's something that I wanted to export, I would trim the composition by hovering over this blue tab here, and whilst holding shift, it will snap to the last clip within the composition. And that means when I hit play using the spacebar, it will go back to the start once it hits the end. So this is what we're left with. Now to export from After Effects, we go to Composition, Add to Render Queue. And down here, we've just got our settings. So under Output Module, let's just select that. And we're just going to make sure that our format is QuickTime and video output is checked. And for this, we don't have any audio. So I'm actually going to change the audio output to audio output off and hit OK. And then this tab here, we can just select that and choose where we're going to save it to. So I'm going to save this to the desktop, and I can rename it. And hit save. And then we're ready to hit render.